Ever since I was a kid, I've been obsessed with maps. Not just the digital ones on your phone, but real, physical maps. The kind with crinkled paper, faded ink, and the smell of history. I've collected hundreds over the years, from medieval world charts to early 20th century city plans. But none of them were like this one. I found it in a dusty little antique shop tucked away on a forgotten side street. It was a 19th century navigational map of my own state. The paper was heavy, almost like leather, and the details were exquisite. The shopkeeper, a strange old man with eyes that seemed to hold 1,000 stories, sold it to me for a steal. He just said, "Some paths are best left unwalked." I laughed it off as quirky salesmanship. One wish I had listened. That night, I spread the map out on my dining table under a bright lamp. I was tracing the old county lines with my finger when I saw it. A thin, black line, shimmering like fresh ink, was slowly extending itself from the edge of my town. I blinked, thinking my eyes were playing tricks on me, but the line kept moving. It was drawing itself in real time. The ink was unsettling. It wasn't just black. It was a deep, oily void that seemed to absorb the light around it. I watched, mesmerized and horrified, as it sketched a path heading north, away from civilization, towards the mountains. It marked a small, exorbera place Edie never heard of. Blackwood Crossing. A quick search online told me why. Blackwood Crossing was a railroad bridge that had collapsed in a flood over 100 years ago. It didn't exist anymore. I tried to dismiss it as a strange chemical reaction in the old paper, some bizarre atmospheric effect. But the next morning, the line was still there, waiting. I decided to ignore it. A huge mistake. As the day wore on, I noticed something terrifying. A dark, kinky stain was spreading from my house's location on the map. It was slow at first, like a drop of oil on paper, but it was undeniably growing, consuming my street, my neighborhood. It felt like an erasure, like the map was threatening to wipe me off its surface, and maybe from reality itself. Panic set in. This wasn't just a map. It was a compulsion, a curse. It was forcing me on a journey. I had no choice. I packed a bag, grabbed the map, and got in my car. As I drove towards the highway, following the path it had drawn, I watched in my rearview mirror as the inky blot on the map receded, stopping its horrifying spread. The map was satisfied. For now, the journey to where Blackwood Crossing once stood took hours, leading me down overgrown dirt roads that my GPS insisted didn't exist. I eventually had to abandon my car and hike. The air grew cold, and an unnatural silence fell over the forest. I found the remains of the bridge, a few rotted pylons sticking out of a deep, misty gorge. The X on the map was pulsating with a faint, dark light. As I stood there, a low growl echoed from the gorge below. It wasn't an animal I recognized. It was something ancient, something that shouldn't be there. I felt a primal fear, a certainty that I was being hunted. I didn't stay to find out what it was. I scrambled back to my car and sped away, but as soon as I was back on a main road, the map began to draw again. The oily black line snaked further, towards another impossible location, a mining town called Whispering Gulch, abandoned and buried by a landslide in the 1880 segundos. This became my new reality, a perpetual, unstoppable journey, dictated by a cursed piece of paper. Each location it marked was a place lost to time, and each place held its own forgotten danger. I encountered things in those shadowlands that defy explanation. Glimmers of figures in abandoned sanatoriums, whispers on the wind in ghost towns that sounded like my name. The feeling of being watched by countless unseen eyes in petrified forests. With every stop I completed, the map would reward me by drawing the next leg of the journey. The path was leading me across the entire state, through its most remote and dangerous corners. I was isolated, cut off from my old life. My phone stopped getting service days ago. My friends and family must be wondering where I am. But how could I ever explain this? Sorry, I am on a cursed road trip dictated by a sentient map that's trying to get me killed. The worst part isn't the creatures or the ghosts. It's the destination. The line on the map is getting closer and closer to its final point. It's a spot in the far northern wilderness, a place with no name, just a cluster of jagged peaks. And on the map, at that final destination, there's another mark. It's not an X. It's a tiny, perfectly drawn skull. I don't know what's waiting for me there. The source of the curse, the being that created this map. Or just ... The end. The map is consuming my starting point again, faster this time. The inky stain is spreading, a constant reminder that stopping is not an option. Refusal means erasure. Moving forward means walking towards a death that has already been drawn for me. I'm recording this now, on my old camera, saving it to the last memory card I have.